Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to our class today, International Marketing. I hope you all had a pleasant afternoon. In today's presentation, we are going to tackle 4 lessons such as defining international marketing, evolution of global marketing, dynamics of international marketing, and globalization of markets. After a successful completion of this unit, you should be able to define international marketing, explain the evolution of global marketing, and differentiate market globalization drivers from government globalization drivers and competitive globalization drivers. To begin with this unit, I will give an overview in regards to international marketing. International marketing often offers more choices and lower prices to consumers. Furthermore, it makes market more accessible to competition, which has frequently emerged as a surprise and is complicated to deal with. As a result, not everyone benefits equally from worldwide marketing activities. International marketing can bring benefits and opportunity to some while delivering drawbacks and problems to others. In regards to this, international marketing, it is beneficial since it has 2 distinct advantages or benefits. International marketing not only aids within the organization's business diversification, but also continues to expand the audience engagement to formerly untapped geographic areas by promoting their brand to a global market. Moreover, an opportunity for increasing sales, brand awareness, and exposure is international marketing. And as I have noted, opportunities overseas seem to be endless as well as impact a much bigger market than they would have if a business merely continued to operate domestically. Furthermore, factors such as demographic, political, legal, and technological developments also take into account cultural and social impacts that can deliver drawbacks and problems to others. The effects of globalization are changing how individuals, businesses, and countries associate with. In particular, it alters the nature of economic exchange between countries by increasing business and trade, going to open up global supply chains and greater accessibility to labor markets and natural resources. Thus, international marketing is of foremost relevance to countries, businesses, and individuals, both as an opportunity and a challenge. Lesson 1. Defining international marketing. First of all, let me define what marketing and international is. This means that marketing is the act of promoting and selling goods or services, particularly market analysis as well as advertising, is referred to as marketing. Nowadays, marketing is a component of any business and organization's growth plan. Taking note that they are doing it, almost all businesses utilize strategies for marketing to advertise themselves and boost sales of their goods or services. This actively illustrates that one of the most important components of business organizations is marketing. On the other hand, international from the word itself, it involves 2 or more countries, which means occurring between countries commonly as international trade. International marketing usually referred to as global marketing, which necessarily involves promoting products to individuals all over the world. In particular, it refers to any cross-border marketing activity, and according to the American Marketing Association, international marketing is a multinational process of planning and executing the conception, pricing, promotion, and distribution of ideas, goods, and services to create an exchange that satisfy individual and organizational objectives. First of all, let me define what a foreign market is. Any markets outside of a company's home country are considered foreign markets, dealing with multiple languages, cultures, laws, rules, regulations, and requirements is a component of operating in foreign markets. As a matter of fact, businesses that are seeking to enter into new markets must thoroughly investigate any relevant opportunities and formulate an entering a new market plan. Moreover, it is important to have a commitment to the pursuit of foreign markets because strategic planning is a process that is greatly aided by commitment. It helps entrepreneurs remain persistent and conquer any difficulties by inspiring and motivating them to do so. Your relationships will strengthen, you will be more effective in accomplishing your goals, as well as having more time to enjoy your journey when you only commit towards the people and things that are actually important to you, your business, or your organization. Global industries are defined as those where a firm's competitive position in one country is affected by its position in other countries and vice versa. It refers to sectors of the industries that successfully operate across all or most international marketplaces. Every market in the industry provides its clients with nearly comparable products or services, and the competitiveness of its industries depends on how well those businesses operate in each market. That's why it is affected by its position in other countries and vice versa. So let's proceed for the lesson 2, Evolution of Global Marketing. Firms, depending on their level involvement in foreign markets, pass through following 5 evolutionary phases. Number 1, domestic marketing. The supply and demand of goods and services within a single country is known as domestic marketing. Although the company may have multiple market sectors, in domestic trade, a firm essentially only has to deal through one type of customer and as well as a set of competitive, economic, and market issues. Such firms produce and sell products and services only in their home country. A domestic market is the supply and demand of goods, services, and securities within such a single country. It is also known as an internal market or domestic trade. On the other hand, the company may take inferences and generate effective and profitable marketing plans with the aid of domestic marketing. In comparison, the companies have to provide less available resources as the risk factors are also significantly smaller. That's why they only sell products and services only in their home country. Basic economic theory demonstrates that when firms have to compete for customers, it leads to sudden changes like lower prices, higher quality goods and services, greater variety, and more innovation. Thus, foreign competition increases local demand for new or improved products, new or improved processes, or creates new markets leading to increase in entry rates. Thus, the competition may be increased by investment grants and subsidies, and by tax incentives to encourage new product development. Keeping interest rates low is also a strategy that would encourage investment. In addition, keeping them as stable as possible would increase certainty and reduce risk. Export marketing. Export marketing means exporting goods to other countries of the world. It involves lengthy procedure and formalities. In export marketing, goods are sent abroad as per the procedures framed by the exporting country as well as by the importing country. An export-led growth strategy is one where country seeks economic development by opening itself up to international trade. Exports are incredibly important to modern economies because they offer people and firms many more markets for their goods. One of the core functions of diplomacy and foreign policy between governments is to foster economic trade, encouraging exports and imports for the benefit of all trading parties. Moreover, every business needs resources, whether it's people, money, suppliers, or time. The physical resources include tangible items that are necessary and available for a business to function. These are items that take space and have a value and are used in the operation of the company. In order to identify and deal with any potential problems, you should always be aware of any outside developments and market conditions that could affect your business, and if necessary, be ready to respond and change your plans quickly. As a matter of fact, all businesses experience changes in the general sales environment at some point. These changes could affect the entire economy, such as a recession or economic downturn, or they might only affect a specific industry or sector. It is important to be alert to possible changes and amend your forecast and plans to compensate for them in order to avoid potential cash flow problems. Let me define first what ethnocentric approach is. It is one of the methods of international recruitment wherein the HR recruits the right person for the right job for the international businesses on the basis of the skills required and the willingness of the candidate to mix with the organization's culture. The ethnocentric approach through export marketers has become one of the strategies of foreign recruiting whereby, depending on the expertise needed as well as the person's ability to blend with the community of the company, the HR hires the best individual for the right job for the multinational businesses. In reference to this, the ethnocentric strategy include giving workers incentives for leading multinational exposure through job interaction at the holding company. Cultural familiarity with the parent corporation facilitates numerous transitions of operations and strategic practices, makes for better regulation, and more. And now, I'd like you to pass over to Mr. Eric Cabanganan to elaborate more of the evolutionary phases.
Thank you for your warm welcome, Ms. Carlila Arellano. Good afternoon to everyone. Before I start, let me introduce myself first. I am Eric C. Cabanganan. Now, innovation, I will discuss the following topics. So first, international marketing. So what is international marketing? According to Hess and Catiora, international marketing is the performance of business activities that direct the flow of goods and services through consumer or users in more than one nation. Marketing may be understood as a humanity activity directed at satisfying needs and wants through exchange process. International marketing firms has polycentric orientation with emphasis on product and promotional adoption in foreign markets whenever is necessary. What do you mean by polycentric orientation? Polycentric orientation is the unconscious bias or belief that is necessary to adapt totally to local culture and practice. It is a host country orientation in management. So one of the examples of this are one of the famous fast food chain, which is McDonald's, is a prominent example of a firm following polycentric approach. And it also said that they make strategic decisions that are tailored to suit the culture of the foreign countries. The company may establish an independent foreign subsidiary in each and every foreign market it services. Such efforts are also called multi-domestic marketing. So in short, in every company, when they make decisions, they assure that it suits in the culture of every countries. So now, let's proceed to the next topic, which is multinational marketing. So what is multinational marketing? Multinational marketing firms are those that sell products or services in many countries. It is also discrete differences between domestic and foreign product markets. These foreign markets in the many cases operate differently than the domestic markets. One of the examples of multinational marketing are also known as the world's largest beverages company, which is Coca-Cola. It is an excellent example of a brand with a brilliant international marketing strategy because the company gave local operations slack to adjust the soda taste to fit the market's cultural preferences. And also, economies of scale in product development, manufacturing, and marketing are achieved by the multinational firms by consolidation of some of their activities on regional basis. In this region-centric approach, product planning may be standardized within a region. Example, a group of contiguous and similar countries. They stated that by the consolidation of some activities, especially the regional bases, they achieve product development, manufacturing, and lastly, the marketing of products. That's why the economy continuously grows. And now, let's proceed to the last topic, which is global marketing emphasizes. So when you say global marketing emphasizes, it focuses on creating a standardized plan of action across the board for marketing your brand or product in various countries. And also, global marketing firms sell products and services in most countries around the world. It means marketing the company's products and services considering the global market as one. Also, through global operation firms achieve the reduction of cost efficiencies and duplication of efforts among their national and regional subsidiaries. Global operations allow opportunities for the transfer of products, brands, and other ideas across subsidiaries. They stated that through global operation firms, they help company or business grow more and aim to recognize their excellence across all sectors, and to better know their brands and especially their products or services that they offer. Lastly, opportunities to operate worldwide are supported by the emergence of global customers, improved linkages among national marketing infrastructures, leading to the development of a global marketing infrastructures. Through the development of a global marketing, it aims to reach a wider audience in the worldwide market and satisfy the global customers that the organization targets and find new global customers to increase sales and market shares. So this is the end of my topics. I'm going to hand you to Ms. Rosemary Balala, who's going to present Lesson 3, Dynamic of International Marketing.
Thank you, Mr. Kabanganan. Good afternoon, sir and classmates. So today I'm going to tackle Lesson 3, the dynamics of international marketing. So from the word itself, dynamics in marketing means stimulate growth, development, or changes within a system or process. While the word international marketing is the exchange of goods and services across national borders to meet the requirements of the customers. So for more understanding, let's proceed. Next slide, please. In this slide, it says that modern marketers have to deal with customers who are changing, with channel of distribution that are changing. So basically, channel of distribution, it is a chain of businesses or middlemen through which a good or service passes until it reaches the final buyer or the end customer or end consumer. Goods and services make their way to consumers through multiple channels, a combination of short and long, which only depends on the number of middlemen required to deliver our products or services. Because of the fees charged, longer distribution channels may result in lower profits for all manufacturers. Distribution channels have made a significant change in the past years. E-commerce was the cause of this. E-commerce significantly changed the distribution system for several reasons. They operated under the idea that they were only the manufacturers, wholesaler, or retailer. They spread the products through a wide customer base and geographic location. Meanwhile, the development of the internet has made the distribution of channel more challenging, as well as given rise to new middlemen and distribution channels, some of which have increased distribution costs. However, it has also made it much easier for suppliers to sell directly to consumers. The internet, when it comes to providing a product to every buyer's needs and wants, is something other companies cannot do offline. On the internet, they can provide a list of products that are relevant to all customers. They can get exactly what the customer wants and needs. And lastly, the internet provides lower costs when it comes to process transactions, like the delivery fee, shipping fee, and other fees included in the product. Based on my experience, I agree with that. Next slide, please. So in this slide, it says that with the technological advancement that are changing the nature of their products and services and requiring them to operate imaginatively and effectively in the emerging markets. Second, the basic nature of marketing does not change from domestic to international marketing. But marketing outside national boundaries poses special problems, such as dealing with multiple environments, managing operation in distant markets, optimizing businesses in more than one country, dealing with foreign nationals, and etc. International marketing, therefore, unlike domestic marketing, requires operating simultaneously in more than one kind of environment, coordinating these operations, and using the experience gained in one country for making decisions in another country. I'm sorry. It also says that the demands are tough and the stakes are high. International marketers not only must be sensitive to different marketing environment internationally, but also they must be able to balance marketing moves worldwide to seek optimum results for the company. So to explain all of that, as a result of the technological advancement that are changing the structure of the products and services, they must operate creatively and successfully in growing markets. As we all know, technological advancement helps businesses to save time and productions, which is helpful to all organizations because they can control this advancement for them to perform better than their competitors. Um, in addition, the basic concepts of marketing remains the same when it is done domestically. But marketing outside the basic concepts of marketing remain the same whether it is done domestically or internationally. But marketing outside the national borders present different challenges, such as managing operation in distant markets, dealing with multiple environments, optimizing businesses in multiple countries, dealing with foreign nationals, and etc. Therefore, unlike domestic marketing, international marketing requires coordinating this operation while engaging across several environments and at the same time using the knowledge gathered in one country to choose in another. When you are in international marketing field, it is really important to have knowledge between different countries regarding the different things like the culture, their wants and their needs. Because that's how international marketing works. We should cooperate and engage across different countries to make your work or everybody's work easier. And international marketers need to balance marketing efforts internationally in order to achieve the greatest result of the company. Um, to make it short, the goal of the company. They also need to be sensitive to the various marketing contexts all over the world. That's all for my part in this report. And now, please let us welcome Julia Francisco to discuss Lesson 4, Globalization of Markets.
Lesson 4, Globalization of Markets. So first, let's discuss what is the meaning of globalization. So globalization is moving away from self-contained countries and toward a more integrated world. So it means that we are becoming more interconnected through trade and cultural exchange, and we also have the ability to sell goods and services in the global market. So we have four key factors that influence the process of globalization. So the first one is the improvement in transportation. So there's a lot of cargo ship that transporting product from Philippines to other countries, then other countries here in the Philippines. So that is one of the major example of improvement in transportation. And people are easily can go to other countries without any hassle and very quickly. We all know that the Philippines is exporting and importing products, and other countries is doing that as well. The World Trade Organization, or the WTO, are promoting free trade to all countries all over the world to remove the barriers between countries, and that helps to unite every countries in the world as one. The third one is improvement of communication. Internet and mobile technology have allowed greater communication between people in other countries. And social media and different application allowed us to reconnect with other people, and it's great for converging people from other countries to other countries and to allow us to communicate very easily. The last factor is labor availability and skills. So many Filipinos are working abroad, and other countries do that as well. And nowadays, every country in the world are very open with that system, and they're getting different workers around the world. Now, I would like to hand you over to Ms. Bel Jonco to elaborate more through the discourse of globalization and its impact.
Imagine for a moment that you run a business that produces digital cameras. How would globalization impact your company? The impact of globalization on business can be placed into two broad categories: market globalization and production globalization in countries other than the home country. This change will make it easier for your company to begin selling products internationally, since lower tariffs keep consumer prices lower and fewer restrictions when crossing borders make it easier for a company to enter a foreign market. It also means that companies must consider other cultures when developing their business strategies and potentially adjust the product and marketing messages if they aren't appropriate in the target country. This may not be an issue in the camera industry, but a hamburger company entering India would definitely need to revisit their product and strategies to be successful. Production globalization is the sourcing of materials and services from other countries to gain advantage from price differences in different nations. For example, you might purchase materials and components for your cameras from multiple countries and then assemble the product in yet another international location to reduce your cost of production. This change should lead to lower prices for consumers since products cost less to produce. It also impacts jobs since production may shift from other country to another, usually from more developed countries to less developed countries with lower average wage rates.
The common themes that run through the discourse of globalization are: letter A, ecological interdependence. So this means that some places on Earth are connected through air, water, and overland links, and we are dependent both in nature and to others in order us for survive. So there is a phrase that no man is an island. So that is true. We can't live without others. We need someone or other people in order us to survive. And that's the nature of a human being. We depend on others. So there are a few examples here for us to understand. So let's discuss it. So number one, people dependent on nature for survival. So we hunt, we gathered the food that we eat, like water, fruits and vegetables, chickens, meats. So that's the examples. Next is businesses depends on supplies for raw materials. The third one is financial institution depend on businesses to loan money. And lastly, countries dependent on other countries for trade. Next is dominance and dependency. There's a lot of dominant countries in the world, and a few examples here is Russia, China, United Kingdom, and USA. And they have the greatest autonomous out of all the countries in the world. They have powerful players and role in nations to use in corporate interest. Next is hologrammatic diversity. So this means that we are connected and we have the same diversity in terms of humans, nations, social or cultural diversity. We are connected and it reflects with one another. Now I would like to hand you over to Miss Bell Jonko.
It means that the homogenization brought about by globalization is superficial and is limited to the material level of the consumer goods used by people and a certain consumer culture that is artificially promoted by the media. It does not affect how people relate to each other and how they find meaning and purpose in life. It leaves largely untouched the freedom and agency of the subjects in the creating and changing culture both as individual and as groups. Ubiquitous communication is the belief that communication is now becoming more and more universal in all places at all times and in all directions. It means that through technology and internet will continue to make life better.
Market globalization drivers are depend on the nature of customer behavior and the structure of channels of distribution, which includes the degree to which customer needs converge around the world, customers' procedure on a global basis, worldwide channels of distribution develop, marketing platforms are transferable, and lead countries in which most innovation takes place can be identified. And some common market drivers are: the first one we have is common customer needs. Common customer needs defined as factors that affect whether customers' needs are similar in different countries include economic development, climate, physical environment, and culture. Ultimately, the need is the driver of the customer's purchase decision. Companies often look at the customer needs as an opportunity to resolve or contribute surplus value back to the original motive. And an example of customer needs takes place every day around 12 p.m. This is when people begin to experience hunger, which is our need, and decide to purchase lunch. The type of food, the location of the restaurant, and the amount of time the service will take are all factors of how individuals decide to satisfy the need. The next one we have is global customers and channels. Global customers buy on a centralized or coordinated basis for decentralized use. Their existence affects the opportunity or need for global market participation, global products and services, global activity location, and global marketing. Marketing channels are crucial both on a global and domestic level, and ultimately create utility for the customers. The physical flow of goods or service through channels is how companies can distribute and market their brand. Channels are made up of a coordinated group of individuals or firms that perform functions that add utility to a product or service. We also have transferable marketing. Certain elements of the marketing mix, for example, brand name, pricing strategy, and etc. may be transferable across markets. The implications are that these elements can be effectively used both for increasing as well as reducing barriers. In today's dynamic market, not everyone wants to be working in the same sector or industry for a long period of time. We are seeing a rising trend of marketing professionals seeking out new and exciting roles. But how do you ensure that your marketing skills are transferable? Movement to new sectors is particularly prevalent in certain industries and job functions such as marketing. For example, professionals with a solid consumer backgrounds are easily absorbed into multiple sectors such as B2B or business-to-business marketing and financial services. It is wise when starting your career in marketing to gain broad consumer experience, and as a result, you can later have the choice to specialize in varying sectors. And finally, we have lead countries. Lead countries represent countries where innovations in particular industries are prone to take place. For example, Japan for consumer electronics, Germany for industrial control equipment, and the United States for computer software. Globally successful innovations have commonly been preferred first in one country or region before being adopted internationally. Countries that first adopt an internationally successful innovation can be described as lead markets. Companies can harness lead markets for the development of global innovations. By developing and refining innovations in close interaction with the local environment of lead market, a company can focus on a narrow range of preferences and feedback, lowering the risk of being locked onto idiosyncratic environments and generate true global innovations. That's all for my part. Ms. J. Nicole Judolena is now going to take over. Thank you.
The next one is cost globalization drivers. It is depend on the economics of the business, and it is also the opportunity for global scale or scope economics, experience effect, sourcing efficiencies reflecting differentials in cost between countries or regions. Some importance of this is the technological changes to reduce cost of transmitting and economies of scale to increase in the minimum efficient scales. Then the next one is global economies of scales and scope. It is applied when single country markets are not large enough to allow competitors to achieve optimum scales. Then economics of scales, and it refers to phenomenon of diminishing marginal cost, and economics of scope, it is referred to increase step and scope in interconnections. The next one is steep experience curve. It is associated with concentration of activities can result in significant cost advantages, and it is concept that state that there is a consistent relationship between the cumulative production of quantity and a company. The next one is global sourcing efficiency. It is the ability to source from around the world, allows to firms to reduce costs of raw materials, and it is a procurement strategy which is a business buy goods and services international markets. The next one is favorable logistic. It is increase the ability of global firms to concentrate production in certain takes advantage and economies of scales, and the importance of this is to translate the increased efficiencies, lower costs, higher productions, and rates better. The next is I'd like to pass you over to Marjorie Eugenio.
Different in country costs. This is based on the classical theories of difference in factor costs that do exist and can be exploited by firms to achieve comparative advantage. One of the factor costs of different exchange rate is a constantly moving based on the supply and demand. Whether one currency is higher demand than other, it depends on the perceived value of owning, either to pay for good and service or an investment. High product development costs. High product development costs relative to the size of national market act as a driver to globalization. These costs can be reduced by developing a few global or regional products. Product development is a complex process that requires extensive planning and experience to complete correctly. Without proper planning, project can end up being many times more expensive than expected due to design changes. fast-changing technology, product, or process lead to the high product development costs, which increase their globalization potential. Technologies make it easier for business to operate and expand. Through technologies, companies more competitive by providing them with a new way to market their product and service. Our society today become more diverse. There are new needs and demands that we must meet. Government globalization drivers. Rules set by national government can affect the use of global strategic decision making. Government around the world adopt policies, formulate regulation, and implement programs to the international trade. Through policies, technical standard, policies, and regulation affect all other elements of global strategy and thus important in shaping an industry globally competitive environment. Favorable trade policies, import tariffs and quotas, non-tariff barriers, export subsidies, local content requirements, currency and capital flow restriction, ownership restriction, and requirement on technology transfer are some means government can use to influence firm behavior. Product and consumption, taxes and subsidies can stimulate import or export to acquire. In other words, domestic policy can cause international trade. Domestic product and consumption taxes and subsidies will affect the level of international trade with the rest of the world. An import tariff applied on imported product is equivalent in economic effect to a combination of domestic product subsidy and domestic consumption tax of equal value applied on the same product.
Competitive globalization drivers. Any industry's globalization potential is increased by competitive forces necessitating a global strategy response.
In many service industries, these are very important. To protect its position in existing markets, a company may have to follow its competitors into new markets. This is because customers who do business all over the world are known to value global service delivery. Also, once a big player enters a new foreign market, there may be a scramble for territory among competing companies. This is especially true if the preferred way to grow is to buy or license the most successful local companies in each market. So, many industries' globalization potential is increased by competitive forces necessitating a global strategy response. The most prevalent competitive drivers include
high exports and imports. The level of exports and imports of final and intermediate products and services affects the use of a global strategy. Here, when a country spends money from other countries, this represents an outflow of funds from the country. Companies in their own country are the importers, and companies from other countries are the exporters. When there are a lot of imports, it means that the economy is growing and that the domestic demand is strong. If most of these imports are productive assets like machinery and equipment, this is even better for a country because productive assets will help the economy grow in the long run. When both exports and imports are growing, the economy is doing well. This is usually a sign of a strong economy and a steady trade surplus or deficit. If exports are going up but imports are going down a lot, it could mean that the economies of other countries are doing better than ours. On the other hand, exports drop sharply but imports go up. This could mean that the economy at home is doing better than market overseas. Competitors from different continents and countries. Global competition among rivals from different continents tends to be severe.
Next is competitor from different continents and countries. So, in this age of globalization and global monopolies, competition in international relations is increasing and taking on new shapes. Global competition is a type of international rivalry in which an enterprise has position in one country influences its competitive position in other countries. So as a result, businesses are striving for international leadership. Global competition among rivals from different continents tends to be severe.
Interdependent countries. Interdependence between countries through shared business operations can enable corporations fund attack on competitors.
In these interdependence countries, global mutual dependence between countries is referred to as interdependence. To put it another way, global interdependence, one country relies on another for something. It is also largely the result of international, which involves the import and export of goods and services. In fact, today's countries cannot survive long without each other's imports and exports. Interdependence between true shared business operations can enable corporations fund attack on competitors.
Globalized competitors. When competitors utilize industry globalization potential with global strategy, a corporation must equal or preempt them.
So, globalized competitors refers to the services or products offered by competing businesses to international customers. Consider organizing a pie eating contest or erasing. These are examples of local competition where people compete against one another for one common aim to be the greatest in their core expertise. A company's core competency is what it does well. Global competition has enabled businesses to buy and sell their services on a global scale, which has raised profits and leveled the playing field in business. Other environmental drivers is revolution in IT and telecoms, international financial markets, reduction of tariffs, creation of trade blocs, and privatization drives. Okay, so I'd like to hand you over to Ms. Shaina Tupas to conclude the discussion.
Let us continue. Compatible technical standards. Differences in technical standards among countries also affect the extent of product standardization. Applied to a common and repeated application of standards for products or associated processes and manufacturing procedures, a technical standard is an established norm or requirement for a repeating technical work. We all know that having diverse standards or requirements will always have an impact on the subject's outcome, and as each country has its own unique preferences, most of them differ. Nearly all human-made products are subject to standards for their manufacture, operation, design, and use. Standards exist to safeguard the environment. Other standards make sure various items work together when connected. Common marketing regulations. Restrictions on various marketing activities can also act as a barrier to the use of uniform marketing approaches. For example, restrictions on the use of certain kinds of media for advertisements, differences in ad content like the use of gender and comparative advertising, and so on. When it comes to marketing, and more specifically marketing in regulated industries, we disagree with the adage that dogs are man's best friend. The legal and regulatory departments make marketing's best pals. We must establish relationships with them so that they would endorse our blog entries, tweets, and most importantly, our strategy. But we shouldn't be relying as much as we do on our cherished legal pals. Prior to creating our ideas, blogs, and tweets, we need to understand the fundamentals and goals of marketing rules. Government-owned competitors. The presence of government-owned competitors spurs the development of global plans as a means of counteracting the advantages of protected home markets. The emergence of worldwide strategies to combat the benefits of protected homes market is sparkled by the existence of government-owned rivals. Government-owned customers. Presence of government-owned customers could provide a barrier to globalization since such customers usually favor national suppliers. Because they frequently prefer domestic suppliers, government-owned clients could act as a barrier to globalization. Now, let us welcome Ms. Dimple Rivon for the last part of this lesson. So, to wrap everything up, a commitment to international marketplace is important for sustained growth and superior profitability. Because it exposes your company to broader global audiences, foreign marketing is crucial. International marketing is a chance for a brand's visibility to grow, as well as for enhanced customer awareness and sales.
Doing business is a creative enterprise. Doing business outside one's own country is a much more demanding and complicated enterprise. Because of the participation in international trade, countries may use their highly skilled labor forces to market their goods and services on a worldwide scale. There will be a broader variety of goods and services available as a result. Doing business globally increases competitiveness in domestic markets as well, opening up new chances. This motivates companies to make better use of their resources. Business environments of countries are different. While corporations in economies with faster growth pay greater attention to their employees and adopt more innovative methods, organizations in wealthier nations do neither. International business necessitates an awareness of the clash of cultural standards among countries. In 1950s and 60s, international business was a means of capitalizing on a new opportunity. Today's changing economic environment has made international business dealings vital for survival. North American companies will take no longer reach outer limit than will companies in Singapore. Basic nature of marketing does not change from domestic to international marketing, but marketing outside national boundaries poses special problems. Although the fundamentals of marketing remain the same whether it is done domestically or internationally, doing so presents unique challenges. We appreciate your time for listening. The presentation we gave today has come to an end. Any queries you may have are now welcome.